You bet.
Well, for more on what this restoring of ties between the U.S. and Cuba means, let's bring in Christian Whiton, former State Department senior advisor and author of Smart Power, Between Diplomacy and War. Christian, is this smart diplomacy or dangerous diplomacy?
It's pretty dangerous. It's not going to do the things the president said it would do. In particular, it's not going to help those who are striving for freedom and human rights in Cuba. You know, we have more than a quarter century of experience with diplomatic and financial engagement with China, for example, and that certainly hasn't led to liberalization there. Quite the opposite. It's more repressive today in China than it was, say, a decade or two ago. Also, the idea that this is going to cause some sort of renaissance in business and trade between the U.S. and Cuba is pretty misguided as well. It's just not as significant as the president said.
I know a lot of technology companies that are excited about this, and travel companies especially.
Right. Well, there are about 150 countries on planet Earth that actually do not have a trade embargo with Cuba. Cuba's economy is not in lousy shape primarily because of our embargo. It's in lousy shape because it's a communist country and intensely corrupt. So that's not going to change. In fact, we've sort of sanctified that government with this. Also, the trade isn't going to change. This isn't going to open the path to tourist travel from the United States to Cuba. That still requires a change in law, and the president's not going to get that, especially if you look at some of the comments out of Capitol Hill.
Because every hotel CEO you talk to can't wait. I mean, they're already launching new properties in Cuba.
Yep, that will require a change in law. There are a number of very restrictive practices on any travel to Cuba that existed before the Obama administration. You used to have to get a case-by-case visa or approval from the government. You no longer need that. There are 12 categories where you can travel to Cuba and a license will be issued, but you still need that license. The idea that someone in the U.S. can say, I want to go on vacation, jump on a plane to Cuba, it's just not going to happen. Incidentally, of course, Europeans have been free to go to Cuba for a while, and there are just limits on what tourism can deliver there because it's very hard to put capital in that country and get a decent return.
But how many Americans fly up to Canada and fly down? But anyway, well, Christian, it's going to be interesting. Christian Whiton, former State Department senior advisor. Thank you, Christian.